Today, good evening all. I'm here in the studio to enhance the development and importance of science and technology in a society and in our life at large. In our today class, we want to discuss about the importance of science in a society. The importance of science in a society are the benefit that we all associated or use in a society. Now, science as a whole is a development skill which brought by our inventors, which are the scientists that make us to be in line with all these new technologies and developments. Now, our usage of today, like the cloth or any other thing that you are using today, are the upstreams of what of science. Now, science in particular is what we do every day. Science in particular is what we do every time in our lifetime. Life as a whole cannot complete without science. Life as a whole cannot merit without the usefulness of science. Now, what are the conditions that merit this science? Now, some people now in society can be have inspiration of studying science. But now, what are the primary knowledge of science? What are the primary knowledge of science? Now, the primary knowledge of science are what? One, we add out physics. Two, we add out mathematics, chemistry, English, and biology. Now, what are the principles that guide this subject? Now, what are the creativity that merit this subject? Now, one cannot become a scientist or a science aspect tutor without the ability of having those aspects of science title. Now, one is mathematics. Mathematics in particular is what we do every day. Life cannot complete without mathematics. Life cannot move without mathematics. Accountant cannot work without mathematics. A mathematician cannot work without using the mathematical knowledge and the statistical doing method in analytical means of using his own data. Now, science as a whole is built up through all those skills and formations. Now, life as a whole is mathematics. Mathematics is the principal objectives of science. Mathematics is the primary success of science. Now, one can see himself say, I want to become a science student. I want to read engineering. I want to become a civil engineer. I want to become architectural engineer. I want to become a software engineer. I want to become a chemical engineer. I want to become marine engineering. They are perspective branch subject that met of all those demands. Now, one cannot just go to the field of study without having a set goal. Now, what are the set goals you're saying? The set goal are the primary knowledge of what you are embarked on for. Now, like let us use for example now, somebody that is going to study a chemical engineer must have a primary knowledge of what? Of chemistry. Somebody that want to go and study like civil engineering must have a primary knowledge of what? Of physics and mathematics. Now, you going to the field without having the primary knowledge is wastage, because you'll be what? Maybe you'll be at an angle of what? Of finding. So therefore, science in particular is what builds or stick out in our life doing and in our living. Yes, science is technology. Science is development. Science is enhancement. It enhances us as humanity. We use it daily for our daily activities. We use it daily for our deliberate attempts every day. Now, let us see how we can encode science as a symbol. Now, like in some university and some polytechnic that we went through, they have their own banners and their own view of study about science. Now, science as a whole is development. Science as a whole is innovation, is creativity. Now, what are the primary knowledge that build up all this creativity innovation? Is the mathematics, physics. and chemistry. Now, on normality and sensitivity of doing things, science is innovation. Now, we classify science as innovation in a sense that one cannot merit the attitude of science without having the primary ethical symbol of science, which are the mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Now, in our forefathers' days or in a primitive era, doing things or working either in an office or in a bank was stressful and time wasted. Like in the area of computer science, those working in the bank in the past era was encountering errors and problems in solving the mathematical problem involved in their counting. But in the recent age, which we have the upstreams way of counting, which is the development of computers. With the aid of computer, which is the new development, countings and keying of data record become very easy and timeless of the operation. Now, science in particular has built us in a way of which life is very accessible. Science has built us in a manner of which no man can be comprehensive in doing his job at, 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 at the weak point. It delivers us work at a very fast rate. It lengthens us time of doing the work, and it also energizes us in speeding up the activities of our doing. Now, I see science as a development barrier that link human efforts and the intellectual effort in a combination of the two to achieve a set goal. Science is a bedrock of living. Now, so many students in the university, yeah, in the polytechnic or in the secondary school, can run a competition aspects about science and other attributes of field of studies. But I see all in all that science is superior, because without the abilities of science, your work in the office as an accountant, your work in the office as an entrepreneur is useless, because the arrangement and the sequential following up of your data cannot easily be done without the usefulness of computer systems. And where do you have this computer? It's from science. So now science as a whole is activities of what we cannot escape. Science as a whole is what we do in our daily life. We cannot escape it. So I therefore believe that science is what we build in life. Science is what carries out our daily bread. Yes, from one substantial angle to another. Science is what gives us the knowledge and the ability to stand out in society. Now let us look into the new model design of the cars. It is built and made by science. It is built and designed by science. Now, many people now they wonder why people are developing cars, developing phones. It is the new bedrock technology in science. Now, let us steer our mind back again in in the past years. Cars, phone, or which you do not have a smartphone, lack of communication barrier. Maybe you may send message to your uncle who is staying at London or UK. It would take days. At times, it may even take months and years. Yes, for that message to send across. But with the new era of development, with their communication language, which is the phone, you can be at your door, making call, calling him or her, requesting of your approval, of your need. That is a symbol of science. That is the usefulness of science. So I believe with me that science as a whole is what we build our life in. Science as a whole is what human being on earth introduces life into. Science is what builds human as a whole. Now let us move to the hospital. Nothing on earth that we can do for us to escape out of the importance of science. So therefore, globally, I look science as a technology that built and appanate out new things in our life living. Now, in the hospital side, which is the medical line, when you move to the hospital, now see that they are updating development that science life and enhancement. Now, why I say that it's science life and enhancement is that it great new innovation, it great new impact, it great new awareness for anybody that is going there, maybe for interview or for any other usefulness in hospital. Now let us move to the in the area of the industries. Industry cannot work without the impact of science. There's no company that you may find yourself into of which they cannot use one of the factors or the implement affecting science. So therefore I believe that with this, science is a proper is a set goal in life enhancement. I will believe at the end of this, I believe you that you will subscribe to my channel, watch this very video from the starting to the end. You will hear the important and the fact about science. Thank you all.